So, you're thinking about learning guitar or bass? That's awesome. Looking at an instrument for the first time, it can feel like this huge, impossible mountain to climb. But really, it's just a clear path, step by step. Today, we're going to break down two really powerful ways to learn, one that focuses on notes and another that's all about the groove.
The great J.S. Bach really nailed it with this quote. It sounds almost too simple, right? But in a way, it is. This whole journey is just about learning where to touch the strings and when to touch them. So let's start with the where.
I love thinking about it like this. Learning an instrument is just like learning a new language. You wouldn't just jump in and try to write a novel on day one, right? No, you'd start with the alphabet, the individual notes. Pretty soon, you're putting those letters together to form words, like chords and cool riffs. And then, before you know it, you're actually having these full-blown musical conversations.
Okay, so before you can speak this new language, you got to get to know your tool. This is where we stop talking and start doing. It's where the physical journey really begins.
We'll be pulling from two different playbooks today. On one side, we have Gibson's Learn and Master Guitar, which is all about the classic six-string, and on the other, we've got Talking Bass's Groove Trainer, focusing, you guessed it, on the bass. So yeah, two different instruments, two different philosophies, but you'll see they both start in the exact same place.
First things first, anatomy. Every guitar or bass has a headstock up top with the tuning keys, that long neck with the fretboard, and then the body. Seriously, just knowing these basic parts is like learning the layout of a keyboard before you start typing. It's your map for everything that comes next.
All right, next up, how do you even hold this thing? For your left hand, just rest your thumb on the back of the neck. That lets your fingers curve nicely over the top. For your right hand, hold that pick between your thumb and index finger. And finally, the big one, the strings. From the thickest one at the top to the thinnest at the bottom, their names are E, A, D, G, B, E. Go ahead and memorize that. It's your new musical alphabet. Okay, so you know the parts, you kind of know how to hold it, but how do you know what to play? Well, for that, you need to learn how to read the instructions.
Now you'll see two main ways to read music. Over on the left, that's standard notation. It's the universal language for pretty much all instruments. But on the right, you've got something called tablature, or tab. And for guitarists, this is an amazing shortcut. Those 6 lines, they're the 6 strings. And the numbers, they literally tell you which fret to press down. It's like a direct visual map of the guitar neck. Super helpful.
And listen, this is not just boring theory. The payoff here is almost immediate. Once you learn just a handful of notes on those first couple of strings, you can actually start playing real music. The Gibson method, for instance, gets you playing Ode to Joy in like the second lesson. And that feeling of making progress, wow, it is so incredibly motivating.
But here's the thing. Playing music is more than just hitting all the right notes in the right order. There's something deeper, something that makes you want to move. And that's where we find what they call the groove.
So what is groove? Well, it's the pulse of the music. It's the heartbeat. It's that magical combination of rhythm and harmony that creates the entire feel of a song. It's the reason a really good bass line can make a whole room of people just start nodding their heads without even thinking about it.
The talking bass method actually breaks groove down into 3 core pieces. First, you have rhythm. That's all about when you play. Then you've got harmony, which is what you play, the actual combination of notes. And finally, melody, the sequence of notes that makes the tune. If you can master these 3 things, you master the feel of the music.
And groove, well, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's a conversation, especially that crucial one between the bass and the drums. When the bassist and the drummer really lock in together, they become the engine for the entire band. Understanding that connection is absolutely fundamental.
So we have the notes, and we have the groove. How in the world do we get good at actually combining them? Well, this is where our two methods really show their different ideas about how to practice.
The Gibson Learn and Master approach is what you might call song-based. It teaches you to build your skills by mastering complete songs you already know, like Jingle Bells or Yankee Doodle. So you're learning the notes, the chords, and the technique, but it's all in the context of playing a full, recognizable song.
Now, the Talking Bass Groove Trainer, it takes a different path. Instead of learning whole songs right away, the idea is to focus on mastering the feel itself. You do that through these dedicated exercises, they're called etudes. You're basically building your rhythmic and harmonic foundation brick by brick.
And we're not just talking about a couple of exercises here. The full Groove Trainer course has 60 of these progressive grooves. It's this whole systematic workout designed to build your internal clock and your understanding of harmony, one piece at a time.
But here's the key, and this is where both methods totally agree. It doesn't matter which path you choose if you don't actually walk it. Consistent, daily practice is what gets you results, period. Even just 15 minutes a day will make a world of difference.
Okay, so we've seen two very different paths, right? One is all about playing songs as quickly as possible, and the other is about building that deep foundational groove. The big question is, which one is right for you?
Let's just break it down nice and simple. The Learn and Master approach is probably perfect if your main goal is to just play a bunch of familiar songs for yourself or your friends. But the Groove Trainer, that's for you if your big dream is to be a rock-solid part of a band, locking in with a drummer and making people dance.
But you know what? In the end, both of these paths lead to the same place. They both teach you the absolute fundamentals of notes, rhythm, and harmony. The best method isn't something you can find on a chart. It's the one that gets you so excited that you just have to pick up your instrument every single day. So whether you start with a simple melody or a deep groove, every musical journey begins with just a single note. You've seen the map. So now the only question left is, what will you play first?